I smile. Welcome everybody, everybody's hand and I'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. It's good to see everybody here today. We've got our October students of the month here, Ella and Becker, so welcome. And again, I want to just say good afternoon and say, enjoy the weather while you can. Another 12 hours or so probably. And then it's gonna hit. And it could be pretty soon. It sounds like they're already changing. I noted that they're already changing expectations on. Vegas is already factoring in the amount of rain that's gonna happen on the west coast, California to up here. And how it's gonna affect football games. So if they're already doing it, it's going to be pretty good.
Phillips is probably full, couldn't be very.
So, as a reminder, today is October 23rd, so tomorrow is World Polio Day. So if you, consider, giving a donation, you can either do that online, through the Rotary and the national website, or you can make a pledge here and Mark will get it down and it'll get there eventually. Again, it's World Polio Plus, it's our Polio Plus Foundation, so it focuses on all kinds of communicable diseases, but still with the focus on trying to eradicate polio. So I want to also give a special thanks. Again, we haven't instituted assignments yet, so really thank you to Megan and Diane, excuse me, for signing up and being greeters today, and for Gretchen signing up to be on the cleanup crew. Tanya wasn't able to be here today, so it really helped that we had all the people here doing the setup. And that includes, everybody else who was here setting up, John and.
John and Mark did an amazing job
Mark,
at
yes.
the breeder station. Thank you to them.
So I want to just give a warm welcome to our students. Again, Becker, Ella, and Maureen. We finally got Maureen's badge, so she's official now, even though we've seen her here before. And also our presenter today, Jason Holland. Thank you for being here. Normally, with Amy not being here, I'm going to do a brief info for Jason. I've known him since he got here in town, so I think I can do some from memory and yeah, I'll make some stuff up too. Even if I make it up, it's probably true. Jason's done a lot of really cool things. Jason's the executive director for the Oregon Coast Council for the Arts. A lot of people don't know exactly what the Oregon Coast Council for the Arts is, but in the main aspects of it for Jason, I know, are managing two of our great facilities here in Newport, the Performing Arts Center, as well as a Visual Arts Center down on High Beach. If you haven't been to the Visual Arts Center, you really should. A lot of people don't even know much about it. They've also done some cool artwork on the outside with the mural project and stuff. But I think, when I met Jason, it was through an interview process for that position. As I was on the board, and still I'm on the board for the OCCA. Jason described himself as a Disney kid. And not just that he liked the shows, but his family was Disney. His dad was executive in the Disney Corporation, so he lived in Florida for a while early on. When his dad worked there, I know that he moved to other locations. I know he spent at least 4 or 5 years in Tokyo when they were opening up the Disneyland in Tokyo, or setting that up anyways. Jason's got a very varied interest in the arts. It's not just with the Performing Arts Center and acting and directing. As if you've been to shows, he's gotten involved in doing both of those with Fiddler on the Roof. You got to see that. That was awesome. So Jason directed that, as well as his husband was one of the main performers in that, and so a very talented family. He also played an instrument when he was younger, and I'm going to say, how long did you stay in Tokyo?
I'm impressed with this whole introduction. So about 4 years.
4 years, so, and that was, after that, though, he's sitting next to my wife, so I'd have to mention that, they're both Cherry alumni, Jason moved up in Kansas City, and, went to the University of Kansas, majored in English, I'm sure it was involved in the theater department there. Was a professional actor in Chicago. And that kind of, I think made him, and not just an actor, but he did directing there too, I believe. But then he spent the majority of his professional career, almost 20 years, in the, I'm probably gonna mispronounce it, the Segerstrom. The Segerstrom Center for the Arts in Costa Mesa, which is in Los Angeles, which is a enormous performing arts center. In the Los Angeles area, as you can imagine, not just a lot of access to a lot of people, customers, but a lot of money. So that was one of the things that really surprised me. I still consider it one of my better contributions to the community was somehow he came up here from there, and not when we're a blooming time for us. It was April of 2021, so we weren't even open yet. The pack wasn't reopened from COVID. He walked into a situation where, they were going through this all over the country without knowing how do we transition back into opening up. A whole lot of considerations everywhere, but he's coming into a completely new community, completely new everything, and having to deal with this, as well as, we were still trying to wrap up our phase 7, trying to do all the renovations to the Performing Arts Center. If you haven't seen those, you should definitely do a tour. But it was just walking into a lot of stuff. So we were just ecstatic when Jason agreed to come. And I think if you've been involved in the arts community here in the last 4 or 5 years, since COVID, it's been amazing for me to see. We always had a great arts community here, a lot of support for it. But the utilization of our facilities and everything has really come a long way. And I think Jason will probably talk a little bit about the economic impact that the arts has. It's phenomenal for all of us. For anybody who owns a house out here, it helps your property values. You have a business, it helps your businesses. We have a lot of people come from other places. I don't know if it was 80 or 90% of our jazz festival people came from out of county. So it's a really big deal. And Jason, in my experience, has been very passionate about getting access and everything that has to do with making the arts accessible to our community, which isn't necessarily easy the way we're divided up. And part of that was getting the arts bus available, which can go to schools, to our rural, or more rural, I'll call it, our whole county is rural, but our more rural parts of our county. And the only other thing I want to bring up is it's not just us locally that recognize Jason's talents. He was in 2024, the governor, I don't know, call it appointed. But basically offered him, so I think he could have probably said no, up to a position on the Oregon Arts Commission for the state, which basically has the same goal as what he has here, except for on a statewide level of bringing the arts to everybody in Oregon, making it accessible, and recognizing not just the benefits that we all get from the arts, but also the economic benefits, the selfish reasons as well, to support the arts. So with that, will you please join me in welcoming Jason Holland?
Do you have anything left?
I was about to say.
I think we heard it.
Ryan, thank you for the invitation. That's my time. Ryan, that was amazing. I literally probably remembered 35% of what Ryan said, but it was true. He's right. No, thank you very much for the very kind introduction. Very accurate, and I'm impressed. Okay, so John, just a quick check. I'm logged into Zoom and now I share my screen, right? Okay. By the way, I think this is my third time speaking to you over the course of a few years, so thanks for being willing to have me back. I'm glad I'm not on the banned list. But I'm impressed every time the technology is getting better and better. This is next level. Look at this. I feel like I'm in a TV studio. Horrified. So I'm gonna share my screen, folks on Zoom, patient. Here we go. I'm gonna bounce around just a little bit, but I am gonna hit on economic development, as Brian mentioned, because I know that's important to your work as well. And you're an important driver of that in the work you're doing in the community, but Brian did quickly hit on this. I'm gonna see if this works. Let's see. Now I'm not going to look at my Zoom screen. I'm going to look at this, and it works. Okay. So just very quickly, there we go. All right, lag time. Okay, just quickly, I don't expect you to actually, it's actually a vision test. I'm gonna quiz all of you to see if you can read that bottom row. But just to visualize the sort of complexity and uniqueness of Oregon Coast Council for the Arts, you might hear OCCA, that's our organization, nonprofit arts organization, and really unique also public and private partnership with the city of Newport. Which I'm really proud of, and it's a really smart way, I think a mutually beneficial way for the city and a nonprofit to work hand in hand to serve the community. And so that comes into play with the two buildings, the Performing Arts Center and the Visual Arts Center. And then the third circle on there is just to kind of underscore to folks that one of the things that we do a fair amount of at OCCA maybe looks like advocacy, especially for our region. So that's one of the reasons I did say yes to the appointment to the Arts Commission, is that we need coastal representation in the state when it comes to, you know, our voice, our uniqueness, what we need. And also because I want to be, you know, just one of many voices representing a huge amount of artists. You all, I think, know this firsthand. I'm sure you all, one degree of separation if you're not an artist yourself. For this community per capita, we have an extraordinary amount of artists that live here. I think we all can guess what draws artists to this beautiful place that we live in. And so it's important to remind folks at the state level, you know, about the vast number of artists and arts organizations that are here along the coast. So that's one of the hats I wear. And that's one of the things that OCCA does when we can and as often as we can. That's kind of a regional. We also serve, I said regional arts council because one of those circles says Lincoln County Cultural Coalition. That's kind of like, that's the way that the state divides at the state level from funding, they divide the state up into these regional coalitions. So we have one at the county level. Lincoln County Cultural Coalition is just kind of a feeder community hub through which we can then funnel dollars out to individual artists or smaller organizations through grants. So that's the way the state takes buckets of money and says, here, county, you know best how to distribute your money. There's a small board, a separate board that oversees that process. So for example, John's Foundation is one whose dollars flow through the Lincoln County Cultural Coalition to support local artists. That's the Lincoln County Foundation, through specifically the Sponenberg Memorial Trust. And then the state gives us money. So that's kind of one of the things that we do on top of the things you might be more familiar with. I put under the pack, you know, 9 resident companies. Sometimes I like to quiz you all. You're usually pretty good at it. Can you name the 9 resident companies? A resident company basically means an artist group who uses the building as their home, their artistic home, who uses the pack as their home. CAP, Coastal Act Productions,
Red Octopus,
Red Octopus,
Equinabar, Dance Not Jazz.
Dance Not Jazz,
Porthole Players.
Porthole Players, yes.
Newport School of Artistic Movement. Yeah.
Yes, Nancy Middleman School, yes. What's the other name? Oh, Pacific Dance Ensemble, they also go by. We're at 5. Who's the big instrumental one? Newport Symphony, Newport Symphony, that's 6. I'll give you a clue on one of the trickiest ones. Oregon Music Teachers Association. They're one of our original. There's 2 more.
New Artist Production.
New Visions Arts. New NBA, yeah, New Visions Arts, that's one of the theater companies. One more. It's Choral. Coastal Voices. Used to be called, well, they're called Coastal Voices now, because they used to call support the new name. So that's the 9 resident companies. So choral music, 4 theater companies, 2 dance companies, the symphony, and the Oregon Music Teachers Association. So that's another way to underscore, like, look how many resident companies we have right here in our town of 10,500. My previous organization that Brian mentioned was a little bit larger. It was a $65 million a year, 2-building, 6-venue campus, and we had 4 resident companies. Does that sort of underscore that, yeah, we're really lucky here in this community. And then under the Visual Arts Center, 3 galleries in the building. I don't know the last time some of you may not have popped in there, but Cassie Davidson is our director there and is doing a fabulous job of putting together wonderful shows, an active clay studio, lots of education programs, and then the Oregon Coast Art Bus, which some of you may have seen. That was kind of my first slide. I'll go back to it. That's the Oregon Coast Art Bus. That'll come up in a second. There you go. So if you haven't seen it, that's a pretty vibrant, exciting mobile arts classroom. So 2 of the big barriers kind of traditionally to arts participation are transportation and cost. And so if you have a mobile art studio, that deals with the transportation barrier, and if it's free for the community, that deals with the cost barrier. So that's one of the ways we can manifest our mission, is to have arts classes that come to you. So that's why we have the Oregon Coast Art Bus. It's not at all difficult to maintain and take care of a diesel art bus on the coast of Oregon. It definitely requires a lot of TLC, but it's beautifully renovated inside. We took all the seats out, and Gary Hurd, who some of you know, one of our fabulous artists and carpenters here in the community, did like custom cabinetry, and we have like drop-down workstations in there. It's really cool. It's especially helpful to have this, you know how Brian mentioned the weather that's coming in a couple days. It's nice to have this and show up at a community event when it's like that outside, and they can say, come in, get inside, you know, get into the bus and start making some cool art together. I wanted to just quickly mention, I've mentioned some of these stats to you before, but it's so, I haven't talked to some of you. I see some new faces, and I just want to make sure you know that in Oregon, arts and culture is over $9 billion of an industry in the state, and it's over almost 3.5% of our state economy. I think that's something to be really proud of. It's actually larger than transportation. We know that's a topic that's come up a lot in the news lately in our state, larger than utilities and agriculture. So a point of pride, I would say where I see a disconnect, I have to be careful here. This is not with my arts commissioner hat on, because I support the governor's budget and serve the governor with my arts commissioner hat on. With my OCCA hat on and my local advocate hat on, I would say we are 38th in the union when it comes to how many dollars are appropriated to the arts at the state level. I think 38th is too low for an industry that generates $9 billion in revenue for the state. And so I really hope to see, and we all hope to advocate for a better funding at the state level. Obviously, we know that that's a difficult time to do that right now, but that's something that we're in the background beating that drum and really trying to make sure that our legislators and decision makers at the state appreciate and remember that the arts aren't just a nice to have, but they're a critical driver in community. So let's talk about what that looks like actually in Lincoln County. I have these stats up here because these are more current than the one that I had in the slides. So let me see if this will come up. I bet you, hold on a second. Screen sharing, stop that shared and share this one. Here we go. Thanks for your patience, folks on Zoom. So this is Lincoln County specific. Again, some of you have seen this before. It'll come up in just a second. Let me zoom in even more. This is how much in FY22 we did more than a year. I think we spent about 14 months surveying at multiple venues, multiple locations in the county, and over the course of, again, 14 months at events, how much folks are spending when they attend arts and culture events, but not including the ticket price. So we weren't measuring if they were spending $75 on a 70 ticket. We were just measuring, did you go to dinner beforehand? Did you go to a hotel room? Did you pay a babysitter? Did you buy a new shirt? Did you whatever? Anything that you might have spent in the local community because you were attending an arts and culture event. And these are the stats. So from the organizational perspective, so business organizations like mine that spend money to do business, you know, buy paper and pay employees and pay utilities and do all the things, that's about $15.8 million in our county. Audiences, though, are spending around $35 million. And this was 2022. This was 1 year after we started being able to do events. So we're going to do the same study in about, I think, a year and a half. It starts again. I am not emotionally prepared for that because it was a really long year, just in terms of how many surveys we had to do. But gosh, the data is so valuable and so helpful. So $50 million total in expenditures for arts organizations in Lincoln County. And then one other thing I want to show you. This is really important. It breaks down even what folks are spending money on, but the thing to pay close attention to is right here, this kind of bottom row. I don't know if my highlighter will work. Overall average per person per event, again, not including tickets. So the local attendee is spending just under $20 a person per event. Now multiply that out by all the events you know that happen here in the county. And the other thing to multiply that out by, that number seems a little low, but actually I point out to folks in other communities who see that number and say, I see you here at events over and over and over again, right? So that $20-ish per event, I'm seeing some of you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a year. So that really adds up. But look at what our visitors spend, $115 per person per event on average. So they are spending a lot of money. Most of it's lodging related. Food and drink is the second highest, but just to not forget that important economic contribution of visitors. So the average across all attendees is about $50 a person per event. So that's an incredible impact in this county. And again, that was in 2022. So I'm quite certain we'll see even higher numbers the next time we do that. The other thing that I liked in this survey that I thought I'd share with you, this is again from Lincoln County. So we asked our attendees, both visitors and locals, when you are attending these events, how do you feel about these statements? This venue or facility is an important pillar in the community for me. 86.8% agree. I would feel a sense of loss if this activity or this venue was no longer available. 91% agree. This activity or venue is inspiring a sense of pride in the community. 92% agree. And my attendance is my way of ensuring that this activity or venue is preserved for future generations. 91% agree. So that's extremely high demonstration of like the value and the impact for the community. I really want to underscore that third one. Right now, what we're busy doing at the state level is thinking about, you remember I mentioned that I'd like to see us not be 38th in the union, but be higher in terms of how much we appropriate in the arts for the state. This important sense of pride and connectivity in the community, I think, is really critical right now. And so we're really trying to remind our decision makers and leaders that, gosh, it's not just about having sort of a nice to have fluffy thing. It's about this sense of like connection, pride in community, shared experiences that are not digital, right? Shared, like us right now in this room together, we're having a shared experience together. That's something that the arts bring. So I wanted to highlight those numbers for you. I'm going to switch back to my slides and I'm going to tell you what's coming up at the PAC. While I'm doing that quick switch, any questions about anything I maybe just quickly mentioned about funding, about arts in this community, state level, anything like that? I'm afraid that my okay. I'm going to show you what's coming up at the PAC. Oh, I brought this. I'll try to use my, I did go to school for education, right, middle secondary, is my certification, English and theater. But I'm gonna wait, I'm not gonna pass these out yet because I'll lose your attention. So I'll share the slide and show you just kind of what this has. I'm actually really proud of this. This is the first time since I started that we've had all of our ducks in a row and all of our information organized and contract signed and everything done so that we had like 6 months worth of calendar information to share across all 9 of those companies plus what the CCA is up to. And so let me scoot past these stats. Showed you. Oh, I wanted to show you. I showed this last time, but I really want to underscore this. This is kind of from my heart to you as Rotary. On the left, it's kind of a value statement for OCCA. We know that the arts can be a powerful tool for bridging and belonging work in the community. The arts can partner with service organizations, businesses, and cities to address community-wide challenges. Rotary, language I see in your website, our multidisciplinary perspective helps us see challenges in unique ways. We apply leadership and expertise to social issues, so community issues, and find unique solutions. I think this seems like a good match. Like, I think we swipe right on this relationship. So let's continue to think about how we might together just partner in any ways that's mission aligned for you, project aligned for you. I know the great work you do in this community. How can we come alongside and support you, either as a gathering place or again, the arts are a great conduit for when we are gathering. The arts can be a great, not just activity that's a filler, but it's a way for folks to express themselves or share their identity or share their experience, especially when we're working with impacted communities and members here in Newport. So please consider this relationship. I think it's a good one. Let's tell you what's coming up here. And this is just in the next like 5 weeks. This is how busy and exciting things are right now. The packet, for example, this is the closing weekend, but it's a very timely piece of theater. It was a big hit on Broadway, a one-woman show. It's now performed locally with a small cast through New Visions Arts, one of our 9 companies. The play is called What the Constitution Means to Me. It's a fascinating dive in a look written by a constitutional scholar. And during the course of the show, you can get your own copy of the Constitution you can take with you. Anyway, it's a really fascinating exploration about civic dialogue and sort of the founding of the country. So pretty timely. Closing weekend this weekend. We have 2 more weekends in our smaller theater in the David Ogden Stars of 12th Night. That's running this weekend and next weekend. That's by Red Optics. Not forgetting some of the great things at the VAC. This is one of the many, there are a bunch of them, but I only picked a couple examples. This is an example of just one of the classes you can take coming up. Learning how to paint surf and rocks in watercolor. It's very appropriate for our community. We have fabulous teachers at the VAC. And by the way, you don't have to be able to do that to take the class. I can't do that. You can sign up for the class. Listen, the point of taking classes like this isn't to like feel like this is something that we're not accessible to us because we don't have the skills. It's about learning something new and trying something new. Whenever people tell me things like, I can't sing or I can't draw, I first double check with them, how long have you been practicing? Oh, 0 hours? Well, yeah, I mean, you're learning, you're new at it, right? So unfortunately in America, we tend to equate those skills with just talent or not talent. That is bologna and cheese. It is about practice. So come and take a class and practice and see how you do. Let's see, this next weekend, many of you know this program, Dancing to the Coastal Stars. That's coming up. Yeah. That's what we have on the dancer here. Oh, right there. Hi. Support Christy. I think all the couples fundraise. So ask Christy how she's doing. I am one of the judges. Yeah. No bribes. Actually, I haven't seen this event yet. I'm so excited because kind of from when I started, yeah, I know I can tell how beloved it is because from when I started, you know, it was on the calendar as like a maybe, and then no, we're not ready. Second year, maybe, no, we're not yet ready. So finally, their organization is ready to sort of put on a big event like this. I'm excited to see it. It is.
Wait, not many tickets left.
Yeah, there are not many tickets left. You're right. And it supports Samaritan House. So it's an important good cause. So come check that out. We have a great community celebration coming up. I think the very next day, we have Dia de los Muertos celebration in partnership with Arco Iris Cultural. So come check that out. So here's some, I just wanted to plug for those of you that have youngsters or grandchildren or neighbors. We always do an after-school art drop-in day on Wednesdays from 3 to 5 at the VAC. They get to make art and look out at the ocean every time they're there. We have a coming comedian. We've had Jay Flowing come a couple times now. He's coming one more time and he brings 2 or 3 other comedians with him from the Portland metro area. And it's a great laugh and it's in the Stires Theater. It's nice to have live comedy here in the community. It's a good time to laugh. The Night Beach Banner auction. How many of you have a Night Beach banner or purchased one before? A few of us. Yeah, I highly recommend checking this out. You might have recognized these were up for many months in the fall. This is a fundraiser for the Visual Arts Center. These are hand-painted, double-sided, actual outdoor street banners. And the migration, the theme this year is migration. So that's the imagery that you'll see. And usually on one side is sort of an artistic image, and the other is usually a quote or a sort of philosophical statement about migration in this case. So this is beautiful. It's a great way to own original work by talented local artists and support the VAC. And that auction starts next weekend, the first weekend of November. The symphony is coming up November 8th and 9th. The next one is called Gandelsman Returns. It's going to be a fabulous performance. You know how good the Newport Symphony is. If you haven't heard them, you have to come check them out. We have the SpongeBob musical coming up in mid-November. Pretty cool and unique format for this musical. For those of you who don't know, the SpongeBob musical isn't just written by one composer, it's written by about 10 different artists. And I don't have them memorized, but you'll see on the advertising a bunch of band names, you'll recognize at least half of them. Those are the bands who wrote the songs for the show. So each song is written by a different band, and then they mash them together to make SpongeBob the musical. And one of our Metropolitan Opera broadcasts, I picked a very famous title, La Boheme, is coming up on November 15th. These are broadcasts right from the Metropolitan Opera right here to Newport. I'm plugging this because on November 20th, the night before the sequel gets released for Wicked, we're doing a Wicked sing-along. So no, you don't have to be an excellent singer, you just have to be loud and proud. That's November 20th. A couple exhibits to plug, and then I'm all done. 2 great exhibits in the back. One of them upstairs, Women of the Pacific Ink. These are all paper ink and screen printing artists. Fabulous, fabulous work. And downstairs in the big gallery, we have a really unique exhibit. Everyone mostly knows Rick Bartow's name around here, so it's Rick Bartow's work shown alongside his son's work. It's really his son's exhibit, and then there's some complementary work from his dad. It is a really unique way to look at 2 generations of really incredible artists in our community. So check that out. That's downstairs. And I think that's it. When the arts thrive, communities thrive. So, any questions? No. Thanks, y'all.
I've got a lot of questions.
Okay. All right.
Not yet.
Thanks for bringing booze to the panel.
Oh. Oh,
But I
and
noticed it helps some people a lot.
we always try to remind people when they drink, it supports the arts. Possibly, of course. I'll put these on the tables before.
And Jason, before you go,
Yeah.
you also need to get some food down. In appreciation of you presenting today, give us this information. We're gonna vaccinate 50 kids in your hands. Yes, polio. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for.
And I think I'll see you at 4, right?
Yes, I'll see you.
But really, thank you, and you got the brief touching on the amount of money and all the great impacts it has, and I learned a lot about it from joining the board there, about the collaboration with the city and how that works. The city owns the buildings, we partner, like when we raise money, they'll match parts of it, but both the entire community and the city, everybody always benefits from that collaboration, and it is a really interesting relationship from an attorney's point of view too, seeing how that all works. So it is really interesting. With that first, before we go into anything else, I want to make sure I give John about 5 minutes or so. He's going to give an introduction to our website. He's
Yeah,
got a lot of work.
thank you, Brian. I wanted to create a one-stop shopping of all the Rotary information. I get a lot of emails of when is this stuff and when is that. So I wanted to create a one-stop shopping of our website. So I've updated it all. And I'm still working on it, but I thought it'd be a good time to share just what you can get from our website. So this is the front page, and always on the front page will be the last meeting. So if you click right here, the YouTube video will start, so you can watch the meeting. So let me go here. So here's our, I just start with Brian's regime here. So here are all the past meetings. So if you want to see any of the past meetings, just click right there. We have a YouTube page, and so it'll go right to there. So the program's right there, and you'll know what that's about. Also, the greeter sign up is right here. So if you want to know, there's a few description of what a greeter does, what time to get here, where to sign up. So that's the page for that. The calendar is, I worked hard on the calendar. These are all of our calendar events. And so you can see if we have a program or not. It's always confusing around Thanksgiving and Christmas if we have a program. And then if you click on it, all the meeting information shows up. The program, the menu, the greeters, and the cleanup crew will always be there. As soon as I learn it, I will post it on the Google Calendar. Another thing that I really like is like here on November 1st, where we're doing the cleanup on the storage unit. Well, where in the heck is that storage unit? So everything is hooked to Google Maps. So if you need to, now you know where it is. It's right next to this. I think they make meth and fentanyl in this. So I would stay away from Thompson's right here, but that's where the used store. So stuff like that, because sometimes we don't know where to go. So all that information will be on that. I've downloaded all of the newsletters that Brian has come up with. So if you want to go back in time and see all the newsletters, you can download them. You just download them and you can print them off and do whatever you want. And then we have a large, with Guy's program, the microplastics, we have 8 pages of microplastic stuff, information. So that's all that. So anyway, that's our website. And I think all the information's there. So if anybody has any more stuff that they would like to put on there, it's no problem. I have divorced my wife, working on this, and it's freed up some time. So anyway, it's pretty much done, but anyway, that's the new website.
Oh, really, thank you a lot. I can't keep up with my emails, so I have no idea how long that took.
Yeah,
It's really great, having the maps, everything, I mean, that's, you know, I always tell John that he's certainly earning everything we can.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think about how much this would it costs to have like an IT person create websites and all that.
There'll be a bill.
Yeah.
Really nice group.
Now I'd like to bring Stephanie up, got your blue badge. You get promoted to blue. We should have done it in three from another.
This went through the wash, so that's okay.
I don't know if you know the picture.
Put it on the website?
Yeah.
I showed that.
Always love doing that for more than one reason, because sooner or later I don't have to carry a box down. But we've got more blue badges and a red badge, so it's really congratulations to everybody working their way through the process, as well as to the people who are recruiting all these great new members. It's really great. It's really great to have all these. And Stephanie volunteers all the time. She's been a greeter probably more than anybody. Since she's been a red badge, so it's been great. On the tables, I wanted to mention again because it's coming up very soon for the Michelle for the Salvation Army, not just the pumpkin carving,
The week from today.
yeah, so that's coming up soon. I know I mentioned it last time, but it is you can still be a sponsor for there was like 3 different levels for pumpkin.
Well, so the, Rick, they took care of sponsoring the pumpkin victory for us. And for the kettle kickoff, sorry, sleeping dog. For the kettle kickoff, there are 3 different levels of sponsorship and all that, and you can get whatever you want besides this, but this is just kind of to give an idea. So if you want to sponsor the event, here's the different levels. You can also become a table captain, which is just inviting some friends to come with you to the dinner. We do ask that if you are going to attend, please use the link or the QR code that's on this sheet to RSVP so that we know who's coming, so that Julia knows how much food to make, because Julia Dobies is catering for us again. And it's going to be amazing, as it always is. We are also looking for silent auction items. So if your business has some swag stuff and whatever, and you'd like to If you'd like to contribute to the silent auction, we would greatly appreciate that as well. All of the money that is raised from this fundraiser is to kickstart our Christmas fundraising, which is the bell ringing out of the stores and things. There are different options with that. I was talking to Mark and Keith before the meeting. You can do things like have a virtual kennel if you don't want to go out and stand, in the rain for 2 hours. You can have an online kennel that you can share through social media, through your business customers, whoever, friends, family, and you can raise money online that goes straight back to us as well. And all the money raised stays here local in Lincoln County to support the work that we do throughout the year.
Thank you.
And Angel Tree starts soon too, which is the Christmas presents for kids and seniors throughout the county. We're already taking applications and getting that set up, and we're working on finding a warehouse to do that in, and Loretta has been amazing in helping with that as well as Freddie. So, yeah, keep your fingers crossed, keep your eyes out for a place where we can sort and pack and distribute our toys, because it's gonna be a lot. Last year we served almost 400 kids, and I expect it to go up this year with all the things that are going on economy wise, so.
Well, thank you so much for doing that, and as a reminder, just so you can look at the information on your tables, but it's the kickoff event is November 4th, 6 to 7:30. It's free, and it's Julie's food, so that's pretty good right there. And those sponsorship levels to, again, it's to kick off so that they can do what they need to do closer to Christmas time. They plan ahead, but they do need our support, so please consider that. And that'll know if there's any other announcements that people want to make, please. If you have a microphone, if you don't have a microphone, let me know. I think we have two of them, but.
It's over there. We only have one.
Oh, we just have one, so.
Yep.
We are still looking for Aspire mentors, so if you'd like to donate your time to NHS students. We have about 300 students in our program who are matched with mentors to help them get to whatever their post-secondary options are. And we have 28 students that are not matched yet, so we're looking for a few more mentors. It can be as little as an hour a week. We have some people that, have one student, some that have a whole group, but we would love to have you. And there's flyers on your table if you're interested.
Thank you, Raina. Thank you, Raina. Our granddaughter, our only granddaughter, turned 29 on October 17th. So, and Mark just weighed in, so I'm gonna do more money. So I want to contribute $29 to the Lincoln County Foundation. Court is going to speak. Court, who was the speaker last week from Greater Bend, he is going to speak to my class at Wazoo next Monday, because I didn't know that Gaza had polio. And I'm just happy overall, so I'm gonna contribute $50 to the Lincoln County Foundation.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, it's a money day for the Nazis. I want to ratify what Brandon is saying about the Aspire program. I did that for a few years. I'm much better at spending other people's money on other people's kids than I was dealing with other people's kids where to go to school. So consequently, since the 1st of July, John and I working together have given about a little over $430,000 in the last 3 months to Lincoln County kids to go to school.
You're gonna donate to us?
I think the foundation, that would be a one-time thing, because then I would go visit the public facility that has for food and bad beds, if I were to do that. But in that regard, because as everyone knows, SNAP benefits are disappearing the 1st of November, Michelle shared with us what's happened with the food bank here in town. And we'd like to give $250 towards the food bank that the Salvation Army supports. So, thank you. Thank you.
Any other announcements or happy bucks? Well. Anything else? Okay, well, I would like to give, I'm gonna give $50 towards Stephanie's Paul Harris. I'd like that to go to the Polio Plus, if you could, Mark. But for the foundation for Ms. Paul Harris, for getting her blue badge done and all the work she's done, here. And also because watching her kid run is a lot of fun. I get to watch my kids run too, but, Alex, really tears it up out there. He's gonna tear it up for districts next week, and, she's really pushing herself hard, so she's a joy to watch. Any others? No, sorry.
I was also gonna donate $50 to Polio Plus, like you could put me down for that, Mark. It's Doretta for you.
Thanks, Doretta.
I think there's a chat here.
Oh.
Oh, it's just saying, thank you. Okay, forget that one.
So with that, I know Julia couldn't make it today, so I don't know if we have a secretary with board. Mark's gonna do it. So.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people here in attendance. I don't know what the percentages are. I'm not a math major, but member incentive today is $10 that goes to Christy Klein.
Seems pretty curious.
That was Dana.
Oh.
She's muted.
Oh, Doug.
Yeah,
And John, we have a social media in 50/50.
we do. Social media winner this week is you, Brian Gardner. And let's get to 50/50. Let me get to the right one here. 45 things going on. All right, this week we have $78.50 for the winner.
Can't be Spencer. Great did one last week, but.
Paul.
So any last minute announcements? Besides, Dan.
I'm really glad the students of the month are here. And Becker, I'm looking at you and your Ella, right? I run the 4-way speech contest at our Rotary Club and also for the district. Elise came in second last year. So I'm recruiting you for this year. Go Cubs.
And I have one more. We had a vocational lunch on Tuesday. We decided that we'll probably just set every Tuesday, the third Tuesday of the month for the vocational lunch. And we'll rotate around and I will solicit speakers and anybody that's interested in participating in our vocational lunch program, send me an email or let me know, and we'll include you in the mail list.
Thank you, Keith.
And there's tons of food back here, Bailey, and to-go boxes.
Yeah, always try to take the food if you can, otherwise it ends up in the recycling bin. So real quickly, then, there's no last minute announcements besides try to stay dry this weekend. Our next lunch meeting's October 30th here at noon, and it'll be with our Students of the Month presentation. So it'll be busy, everybody likes Students of the Month. And as a reminder, November 1st, again, if you want to be involved with cleanup, let me know. And don't need a whole lot of people, but if you want to do it, that'd be great. It's, many hands, make it quick. But again, that's November 1st, so Saturday, week.
It's on the calendar.
Yeah, it's on the calendar. And with that, no, sorry, Megan, are you gonna take us out with the 4-way test? Thank you.
The 4-way test of the things they are due. First, is this the truth? Second, is it fair? Third, fourth, fifth.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job.